lovelies, my name is Jessica and welcome to Makeup.misfit. So I have an update for Project Level Up. Now, this was created by Sofie Alexandra and I binged watched this last year and could not wait to start this on my own this year. I'm really hoping that this project is going to help me work through the eyeshadow palettes that are in my collection. If you saw that video, you'll know that I have a lot. But I just want to show them a lot more love. And as much as I would have loved to do a pen that palette and hopefully finish off something this year, I also just want to hit a lot of pans in a lot of palettes. So for level 1, level 2, and possibly level 3, I will be randomly choosing my palette, but for level 4 and 5, I will be handpicking my palette. So let's get into showing you my level 1 palette. So in the intro, I decided I'm doing this by the alphabet. So I randomized the palette by the alphabet and I randomized the letter B, and then I randomized, I think it was 1 through 5. I have it sitting in front of me right here. So I randomized 1 through 5. I got the first one, which was Bronzed This Way. So this is by Essence, the Bronzed This Way palette. There is a little 6-pan palette, but I had already had one shade completely finished off in here. So I was only focusing on 5 shades. And you had to use every shade one time and hit one pan. Out of those 5, one shade already had pan in it. So I decided to focus on a different shade to hit pan in. So now this palette has 2 pans in it. So this, of course, is the shade that was finished off. It was just a lid setting shade for me. This is the one that already had pan in it, which means this is the shade that ended up hitting pan in for this project. So at first, I was going to focus on this gold shade, but I thought it was going to be a little bit too close to what's in Pan Those eyeshadows, and I didn't want them to be competing with each other. But I wanted to hit pan in a shimmer. So I ended up choosing this shade, and one of the reasons was because it was a lot softer than these 2 shades right here, and so it only took me like 4 uses. But I was actually surprised with how much I enjoyed that shade, because even though it's more on the reddier side, it's got more of like a burgundy or like a copper tone to it. So it's not just like straight red, which I try to stay away from because I'm just scared of them. I don't really like them. But it's basically this shade here just as a shimmer, and I really do like this shade. So I had no problem reaching for it. And of course, I had hit every shade in this palette one time. I was still allowing myself to include this even though it has already had pan in it. But I did want to focus on a different shade and have 2 pans in this palette, which means that I get to roll this one and we are moving up to level 2. So I have my list in front of me. So I'm going to be randomizing a letter to see which palette we will be going with. So I'm going to pull up the app, go to the alphabet. This is what I'm using. So let's cross our fingers that I get a good letter and let's see what we end up with. The letter M. Interesting. So let's go to the M's, and I have 3 palettes that start with the letter M. I can't fold this back, but we have what is that? Margarita by Glamliite, Magnifique by Sigma Grace, and Michaela by Glamliite. So what do you think we're gonna get? I'm really curious about this one. Actually, I'm super excited. Okay, so we are going to randomize 1 through 3. What do you think we're gonna get? Number 1. Okay, so we are working on the Margarita palette by Glamliite. So let me go get that and I'll be back in just a minute. Okay. So I have my Margarita palette by Glamliite. I did have this in a project. It may have been Are You Afraid of the Pan? Something, maybe not. It was in something. No, it was in Paranormal Pantivity. That's what it was. So my goal on that was to use it 10 times. So I have already used this palette a few times. You can see a little bit of usage in this shade right here. Now I have to use every shade in here twice, and I have to hit 2 pans. So I'm really excited to see what those are going to be. I'm not going to choose the shades, at least not now. We'll see how later on goes with other palettes, but I do just want to reach for whatever I reach for. Right now, I'm eyeing up this shade here and this shade. This is pretty much what I had gravitated towards in those 10 uses. So I have a feeling it's going to be this side of the palette. But as long as I'm able to reach for every shade twice, then I'll be good. The only shade that I'm a little unsure of is this one and maybe even this one, but I feel like the rest of them I can make work one way or another. But I feel like I'm really going to be focusing in on these. So there's a good chance that this is going to be a shade that I focus on. But again, I do have a gold in Panel's eyeshadow, so we'll just have to see how it plays out and what I feel like reaching for. But I'm really excited. I'm ready to show this a lot more love and have this show some pans and just see how the next month goes. So I don't think I'll be able to roll this out next month unless I hyper focus on this, so you never know. But it's going to be interesting nonetheless. So I'm going to see how I'm going to try and keep track. I do have like the notes app, and that's how I kept track for level 1. So I might just do the same for level 2 and so forth. But I'm excited about this palette. So if you have used this, if you've hit pan in any of these shades before, let me know how long it's taken you, because I'm really curious to find out. I do have the chocolate martini palette in a project as well. So I'm curious. I haven't hit pan in that yet, which is my goal, so spoiler there. But I am curious to see just a lot more love in these. So that's that. I'm excited. Can't you tell? All right, so that is everything for this update. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you wanted to check out the intro, if you have not seen that yet, go down below. The playlist is down there, so you can go check it out. And please go check out Sofie's intro to this. Go watch her from last year. There's plenty of content on this project, so I binged watched a lot of it towards the end of last year. I fell in love with it all over again and couldn't wait to start. So here we are. So that is everything. So thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you all later. Bye.